Okay, so I would like to welcome you to this latest installment in the Gaelic4Mothers&Others sponsored by SportsDirect webinar series. So we have had a very successful series so far with huge engagement, either live or through our watchbacks as well. So all of our videos and all of our webinars that we've done so far are up on the Ladies Gaelic Football Association YouTube channel and website as well, and we're promoting throughout our social media streams also. So we've had a very successful program and series so far. We've gone through a number of topics in the series, and we still have a number of topics to come as well. As you can see there, the session details. So we have already run through January, February, March. So the year is flying through, as we all expected to after having a couple of years of non-activity, and so I'm sure everybody is busy and time is flying for everybody. But tonight's offering is growing your group, recruiting, integrating and bonding members of your group, obviously tonight being April 28th. So as I said, there is the title of tonight's Gaelic4Mothers&Others sponsored by SportsDirect webinar series webinar. It is growing your group, recruiting, integrating and bonding members of your group. And my name is Vinny Whelan. I am National Development Officer and my remit is for growth and participation. So I lead up the Gaelic4Mothers&Others program nationally. And I'm sure some of you, if you are coordinators here, are probably sick of getting emails off me throughout the year. But I suppose just to keep in touch and hope that everybody is enjoying the program so far, as well as our webinar series. So I suppose we'll get straight into it tonight. I suppose looking at the topic at hand, and it's the question why. Why would we want to grow our group? Be that a new group, be that an existing group, or be that a group that was maybe rebooting after a period of non-activity, which we all have had over the last couple of years. So what are the reasons behind growing your group? Why would you not just stick with what you have, or why would you, not be happy with just, a couple of members at the club, or, so here's the why. I suppose if you love the program, if you love it, others will too. And I suppose I'll start at the top there and we'll work clockwise around the little graph there. So if you love it, others will too. And why not allow others to have that fun? You're obviously involved in the program for a reason. You are obviously taking part and have told other people about it. So why not offer others those opportunities? It might not be somebody in your own club. It might be somebody in your own county or a relation of yours in another county. But I suppose letting other people know that I do take part in this program. You're welcome to come down and give it a go. Somebody might be visiting you from out of town, ask them to come down and have a look at their session. So let as many people know about the program as possible. If you like it, others will too. And I suppose in a sense of your own personal group, reaching out to your own community. I spoke there kind of in a wider sense of, letting other people around in your wider circle or throughout the country know that you're taking part in it. But I suppose looking more closer to home and how and why you would grow your group. Obviously, if it's something that's adding positively to your club and your community, it's something you want to share with other people. So if you are gaining out of it, allow others to as well and open that door for them. The more the merrier. And I suppose if you have the same group for a number of years or a number of months, there's only so much crack you can have. I don't know, people might dispute that, but if you have more people coming from different backgrounds, more people coming from different strands of society who can offer something else to your group or to your club, or offer a different perspective, or offer more crack, then obviously spread the joy among more people. And a wider variety of people, wider cross-section of people will definitely add to your group in many, many different aspects. People might be able to bring skills to your group or to your club that they may possess in their private lives or in their professional lives. So the more the merrier. Bring it on, bring as many down as you can, and let the group grow. Overall club promotion and growth. So there may be somebody in your community who hasn't ever played ladies Gaelic football or Gaelic games in any sense, and they hear about this group that is wanting to grow and is promoting actively throughout the community, and they might have kids, or they might know of kids then who will subsequently come and join the group and join the club. So I suppose in a wider sense, it helps with overall promotion and awareness of the club within the community, and knowing that there is that strand of recreational football within a club for participants who maybe never played before, or participants who maybe left the game years and years ago and we're looking just for a way back in and didn't really want to take part in the competitive end of things. And that really gives a wider, broader exposure of the club to the wider community. So it does really give that overall promotion and growth of the wider club as well. Natural player turnover, and I suppose if you, I always think back to, I know one particular club that I would have known quite well, who on their first 5-6 months started off with 70 players, a huge amount of players, 70. And I'm sure a lot of people who are probably on the webinar watching this are probably going 70. You know, my group has 14, or, you know, but it was a fairly big club in Dublin. The last time I checked in with them, they 12. And the reasons were that, you know, I was given a number of reasons why, you know, such and such moved away, moved back down the country, or such and such had injury problems or whatever. And they were really worried about the continuity of the group. And I said to them, look, you know, you need to reset here. You need to go and you need to promote, and we'll speak about that a little bit later on. But obviously, within any group, whether that's a competitive strand of football at adult level, or your Gaelic4Mothers&Others group, there's a natural turnover of players, and players, you know, go off on different ways of doing things. So, and different aspects of their own life. So, you know, that's not. You know, that's, I suppose, when you're looking at your own group, you need to ensure that that continues to grow, and there needs to be a turnover of players in that. Offering something unique to your community. So there might be something within your own community that is, you know, offering health and fitness and exercise, but there's nothing quite like the group of Gaelic4Mothers&Others that can get together and have that crack in a social, non-competitive environment. There might be other sports in the community that do offer, you know, a sporting outlet for particular cohorts, but, you know, there's nothing really like the Gaelic4Mothers&Others program anywhere really in the world. That's going to offer that non-competitive ethos, where people can come and just be themselves, and, you know, they can really become part of a club and become part of a community, and have that unique experience that Gaelic4Mothers&Others can bring. And then harnessing a larger volunteer base within the group and the wider club. So as I spoke there, but with the more the merrier point of people bringing different skills and different aspects of their lives to a group, and that, I suppose, pertains to the wider club environment as well. What we're seeing now, a trend of people who do take part in the Gaelic4Mothers&Others sponsored by SportsDirect program, is that the participants are now becoming very, very active volunteers within their clubs, because clubs are quickly realizing that Gaelic4Mothers&Others participants have so much to give in terms of organization of things within the club and their specific skill set that they have. And clubs are now beginning to utilize Gaelic4Mothers&Others participants and value them so hugely across all clubs across the country. You know, I think that the program may have, you know, kind of transcended and transferred itself kind of from one spectrum of, you know, well, there's the Mothers&Others over there kicking a bit of football, to this is now a skilled cohort of participants within a club who can act and add hugely within the gates of the club in so many aspects going forward. So clubs across the country are quickly realizing that the bigger the Gaelic4Mothers&Others group, the wider the volunteer base. So that's some of the main reasons why you would grow your group. So I suppose, as I said, this evening there's going to be a little bit of interaction. I said that at the outset. So in the chat function, as I said, don't sit there and be a bystander. So I want everybody to contribute when we are doing little bits of interaction. And I suppose if you are watching back the playback, I suppose you might find something that you can learn off other groups who are taking part in the live webinar. So in the chat function, type any avenues that you may utilize to advertise, recruit, and promote your group to potential participants. And that's obviously within your immediate community. So in the chat function, type any avenues that you may utilize to advertise, recruit, and promote your group to potential participants. So we're going to give you maybe 45 seconds on that one. And as I said, all ideas are very, very relevant. And you adding something there in the chat might just give somebody else an idea, or somebody who's maybe tuning in an idea of something that they can utilize within their club going forward as well. So share your ideas. It might be something that you've used in the past, or an idea that you've come up with in the not so distant past, to be able to promote the program throughout your community. So I'll just give you another few seconds on that one. Okay, couple coming in there. Thanks, Stella. School groups, absolutely. School groups are one of, I would say, probably the main advertising outlet that you would be able to utilize. There is nowhere in your community or your immediate area that you're going to have a direct access to all mothers, parents, or guardians within the locality. So schools can have school newsletters, they can have a school alert, they could have a school messaging system set up. I certainly know from working in schools myself and dealing with certain principals and PE coordinators within schools, that they would have direct access to messaging parents or guardians or people of importance at home for their pupils. So that is probably the largest and most effective way of looking for potential participants within your community. And as I said, it's a direct route, and it's probably the easiest way to cast your net, so to speak. So thanks so much for that, Stella, and I'll speak about that a little bit later on in the next couple of slides as well. We have Jenny. Jenny's come in there with through social media. So social media, and again, I'll speak about that over the next couple of slides as well. So social media has become a huge tool and a huge platform from which you can communicate your message to so many people at the click of a button instantaneously. And if you are training, if training is commencing at a certain date and you're looking for certain members, it's a huge way to be able to get your message across. And be able to give out that information around your training times and start dates and all the rest, and what particular cohort you're looking for. And I suppose I'll speak about that a little bit in a little bit more depth later on. So look, folks, thanks a million. I see loads of answers coming in there. So you're pretty much giving me all of my own answers from the next slide. So look, I'll quickly move it on because it just shows the level of knowledge of the people who have tuned in this evening, that there is such a high knowledge of avenues that can be navigated in terms of recruiting your group. So here was just a few that I put together. So your methods can include word of mouth. So I suppose the participants themselves. And as I said, my very first point in the first slide was, if you love it, others will too. So your word of mouth, look, I take part in this ladies Gaelic football social football group once a week. You should come down and have a go. And every so often we play matches or blitzes against other teams. And look, you don't need to take part in those if you don't feel comfortable with it. But look, it's a really, really positive experience, and it gets you out of the house for an hour a week, and everybody's lovely, and it's a great way of networking. So word of mouth it's still a huge tool. And I suppose we spoke about social media there, and getting your message across. Word of mouth is still such a massive tool when you're able to tell somebody about something positive that you're involved in, because people go, geez, I might go and give that a go. And well, here's when training is on, then you give them your number, and it can follow on from that. So word of mouth is such a huge tool to still be able to utilize. So get your participants out there, your existing participants, get them around the community, telling all of their friends or neighbours or anybody who listen about this fantastic Gaelic for Mothers and Others sponsored by SportsDirect program that they take part in, and how they can get involved and what their benefits are as well. Local community groups. So again, there's so many community groups in small villages, towns, and I suppose townlands and areas, I suppose, within larger urban districts as well. So they're always looking for people to advertise in local leaflets and notice boards and all the rest. So, get in contact with your local community groups and let them know that there's something sporting and positive and healthy happening within their community, and they would absolutely be delighted to promote that to anybody who reads their newsletters or reads their notice boards, and they're a great way for advertising to cohorts that maybe you wouldn't usually interact with as well. LSP, so local sports partnerships, are absolutely brilliant, and I suppose they're, from Gaelic4Mothers and Others perspectives, they can be a huge asset. LSPs, they really are fantastic to deal with in terms of advertising, where, when, how to get involved, and everything about it. When your training sessions happen, they put it out. They put loads of stuff out on their social media platforms. I suppose I follow most LSPs on social media, and they're forever promoting stuff that are like this, that are happening in their community. So get in contact with your LSP and ask them, would they assist you with your promotion of the program and your recruitment of new methods and new members. And they always have their own community groups as well. I mean, one group that we worked with in South Dublin, the LSP got in contact with us, and there was a huge exercise and fitness class happening literally straight before we were beginning the Gaelic4Mothers and Others session. And lo and behold, all 30 women from that class, as soon as they were finished their exercise and fitness class, came across and joined the Gaelic4Mothers and Others group, still in their exact same workout gear, and they absolutely loved it. And this became then their weekly routine. So it really is a good way of linking groups as well. So yeah, get in contact with your LSPs as well. Your county board, let your county board know if you are an existing Gaelic4Mothers and Others group who are looking to grow your group, or if you are a new one starting out, or if you're just looking for a reboot. As I said about that club who had large numbers and are down to 12, and they're really looking for a reboot at the moment. So get in touch with your county board, and they'll help promote in any way, shape or form they can, again through their own social media channels, or they can get in touch with maybe people in their area who they know might be able to assist you with the growth of your group as well. Clubs or personal social media platforms. So the club one obviously will have a huge reach. Some clubs have a few hundred followers, so get your advertisements up there. And again, personal social media platform as well, so people who may be involved in the coordination or the coaching of the group, or existing members if it is an existing group. So get them involved, and make sure that they know that they can post that information up on their social media platforms. School news feeds, as we had and a lot of these folks come in the chat already, so thanks again for your interactions on that. So school news feeds, so as I said, they have direct access to parents, guardians and people of importance at home, so they can send and look, they can say, look, obviously your child plays sports, or the child who you're guardian of plays sports in a local club, and here's something for you. Here's your outlet for an hour a week. Here's your social time. So it's a huge, they can have a huge reach directly to that target audience that you want to really get with your for the growth of your group. So just be aware that is a huge tool to be able to utilize. Younger age groups in the club, nursery or go games level. So obviously nursery and then go games is under 7s to under 12s. So there's, with new kids coming into the club every year, that brings new parents or guardians as well. So they might not have any idea that there's a Gaelic4Mothers and Others group within your club. They might have no idea that there's this fantastic outlet of social football for them. So year on year, and I say this to every group that I always come across, go down to your club's nursery in September or February or March when there's a new influx of players coming in, and their parents or guardians or whoever is bringing them down. That's your new target group, because that's how you'll keep turning over and having a large number come to training and growing your group year on year on year. New parents, new guardians coming in each year. So there's new children coming into the nursery. There's also new potential Gaelic4Mothers&Others participants there as well. So just bear that in mind as well, that recruitment doesn't just happen at nursery and go games level. It can happen on the other end of the participation spectrum as well. Open training sessions or launch nights. So, you know, an open training session, basically, you know, leave it open. A lot of people can see barriers to participation as well. You know, oh, sure, I can't go down. They're in the middle of a season, or, you know, those women are, you know, they've been taking part in this for years, or, you know, what if I'm not fit enough? Or an open training session gives that, it kind of gives that impression of, look, it's open to everybody, which the program always is anyway. But just in case there were any barriers there for anybody, it gives that openness of, look, come down. Doesn't matter what your ability is, your level of experience of any sports, just come down. It's an open session. Okay. And the same with a launch night. Launch night kind of gives that open, you know, kind of open door feel to everything. You know, come down, have a look at the launch. If you like it, you can join in. If not, you know, look, maybe you might be able to get involved in some other way, shape, or form. So utilize open training sessions and launch nights as well. People like a good event. I suppose in Ireland we're event junkies. So open training sessions and launch nights where you make a big deal of it. Here's the big date where it's happening, the big bang. So we're launching the Gaelic4Mothers&Others in start of March every year, and it's going to be pinpointed on this night, and we're going to go, you know, all out promoting through all the avenues that I've just explained there, for this one big night. And hopefully the open training session will bring down more participants for our group. And look, recruitment's an ongoing process, but this might be just that one big hit that you need at the start of the year, rather than kind of starting the year kind of with a whimper, you know, oh, sure, look, we'll start next Wednesday night, you know, go all at it. So I suppose from our own perspective, Methods Made Easy is the name of this slide. So in looking at how we might go about it, we have our Gaelic4Mothers&Others sponsored by SportsDirect posters there as well. So obviously we have the one with the real life players, and then we have the cartoon version as well, and then we have the other one, Oscar Galar. So look, they are the three versions as well. They're on our website on ladiesgaelic.ie, so go on, have a look and download them. They're editable as well, so you can put your details up and then spread them out all around your social media platforms, print them out and plaster them everywhere, so everybody knows that you're here, you're in the community, your reach is there, you're open to anybody, so everybody can come and get involved. So yeah, as I said, they are downloadable, so log on to our website. And just in case anybody wasn't aware, because I did come across one club recently who had done up their own poster, and I said, you know, did you not go onto our website and have a look? As a method of growing a group here is something that's, you know, quite inviting, and they hadn't a clue about our posters. So there you go. You can log on and download them for yourselves. So I suppose after recruiting our players, there's no point in recruiting your players if they're not coming into something that they're going to enjoy. So I suppose what we need to do from there is we need to create a welcoming culture. Okay, so within the club, within the group, we have to have that welcoming culture for people coming to your group. So just a few points here on this, and I won't delve too deep into them, but respecting individual differences and prior playing experiences. So everybody has their own individual differences, their own abilities, their own way of doing things, their own levels of fitness, their own prior playing experiences. Some people may be a former player, and some people may have never kicked a ball in their lives. So it's about, as a group, possibly as a coordinator and a coach, respecting those as well, not expecting somebody to come down and if they cannot perform certain tasks, kind of going, they're no good to the group. they are good to the group. That's the target that we're going for. That's who we want in our group. We want people who are going to progress. We want people who are going to come down and feel like they've achieved something week on week. So respecting individual difference, and so not being derogatory to somebody who possibly cannot perform certain tasks within a session, and respecting that they can't do that, or that they don't want to do it. So having that respect for everybody's individual preferences, differences, and prior experiences. An atmosphere of sanctuary. So an atmosphere where people feel it's a place that they are welcome to come to. They are welcome to be silly in. They are welcome to fall over in and get back up, and somebody else is going to pick them up. So life is very serious, and especially at the moment in the current climate. So it should be their time away from whatever it is that is serious in their lives. And it should be that there is an atmosphere of sanctuary there, that if they are coming to a group, or it is a new Gaelic4Mothers&Others group, that they feel that it's a place that they can walk into and just, I suppose, have a version of escapism from whatever it is, that this is their hour of crack, their hour to just be themselves. It might be the only crack that they're having during their whole day. So give them that experience, and make sure that somebody who's maybe coming into a group, or as I said, or playing Gaelic4Mothers&Others for the first time, that they experience that sanctuary of just being social and socializing in a group and having that fun, and forgetting maybe everything else that's going on outside the four walls or the gates of the club. Familiarization with other participants. So it might be that the coordinator walks around prior to the session and just kind of has a quick chat, and that's Mary over there, and Mary's been playing for 4 or 5 years, and that's Jenny is just new to us as well. Throwing it out there and kind of saying, look, here's everybody's individual experiences of our group so far. You're very welcome down. Just a quick walk through before we and so you can maybe put not names to faces, because I suppose I'll address that a little bit later on, but put experiences to the person as well. An enthusiasm from the group towards the program and new participants. So I suppose if somebody is joining a group for the first time, that they're not coming out onto the pitch and the group is kind of wary and, oh sure, we'll get out and kick a ball and it'll be grand. The group needs to understand that if the person is coming in, or people are coming in, or participants are coming in, or if it is a new group, that they have to have the enthusiasm to want to be there. Otherwise the group will fall apart, because people won't want to be there. There's no enthusiasm, there's no get-go, there's no enthusiasm for the program either. That it's oh sure, we come down here and we kick a bit of ball once a week, rather than go, what, it's absolutely fantastic, you'll love it. It's there's no cups, there's no winners, there's no trophies, we just play it for the bit of crack. What, should we all fall over, but should we get back up, we all kick the ball 50 yards wide, but sure, that doesn't matter. So that enthusiasm is infectious, and if it's not infectious to new people coming to a club or a group, the group will quickly shrink. And I suppose this is about growing your club and having that welcoming culture as well. Communication is key. So again, letting people know, okay, so either a group coming together for the first time, or new participants coming down and joining your group. Okay, so this is Ladies Gaelic Football. This is Gaelic4Mothers&Others, sponsored by SportsDirect. We train once a week. Every so often we may organise blitzes against other teams. My number is such and such. Do you want to be added to the social media group? Okay, so if you get added to the social media group, we do this, this, and this. Here's how much the registration is for the year. We have taken out a group insurance policy with such and such provider. Give the new participants that information that they need. Communication is key. Let them know how and when they can get to training. If it's an issue for them, that somebody will be there to pick them up. Communicate straight away. There's nothing worse than somebody coming up to a session and it's like, okay, right, yeah, do you want to join? Okay, yeah, just go on in there, kick a ball. Okay, give new participants information. Communicate with them straight away. Ask them, is there any barriers to participation for them? Okay, so, you know, all right, okay, so you're doing a college course, and because your college course, you know, we train on a Thursday night. Oh, brilliant, your college course is on Wednesday. Okay, so that doesn't, okay, so possibly if their college course might be on a Thursday night. Okay, right, well, sure, look, if you're missing, you're missing. That's fine, sure, we don't worry about that. Sure, it's, you know, we'll see you the following week. So communicate with them, harness the information from them, and communicate back how things work. You know, what time, you know, everybody is due at the pitch at, you know, and if there's training happening, or there's a big match on the pitch, is there any alternative arrangements? So give the participants all the information possible. Communicate with them straight away. Ensure their needs can be catered for. And what I mean in that respect is that if you have a number of participants coming to join a session, and maybe it might double a group size within a number of weeks. So have you got extra coaches there? Have you got extra footballs, cones, bibs? Is there more space that the club can give in terms of training? Have you coaches who can tailor exercises for people who maybe can't do certain aspects of the session? Have you got coaches who know how to use stepper models to adapt things to suit particular needs? Have you got coaches who can who are willing to work with players who have never ever played before? So make sure that you can cater for people's needs, and that there is that backup there, that in case the group grows to a certain point, that, you know, oh well, we need more coaches on board, we need to be able to cater for new participants, because if their needs aren't being catered for, they won't come back, and then that's a negative experience, and as we know, that can spread fairly fast. So keeping it positive, just make sure that there's a plan in place to ensure everybody's needs are met. So integration of new members. So very, very quickly, as I said at the start, we are looking for everybody who is online with us to get involved. And thanks everybody for your input in the last interaction piece. So in the chat function, I want you to type, what is your understanding of how to integrate new members into your group? Or share any methods which you or your group may have utilized to integrate new members into your group previously. So as I said, in the chat function, type, what is your understanding of how to integrate new members into your group? Or share any methods which you or your group may have utilized to integrate new members into your group. Okay, so we'll just give you 30, maybe 45 seconds on that one, and then we'll have a little bit of reflection on that. So look, as I said, all offerings are very, very valued and may be useful to somebody else who's tuned in as well. So make sure that you interact with us on those. Couple coming in there already. Thanks very much. Tara, yeah, making them feel welcome and introducing them to the whole group. Absolutely. I suppose if we are, as I said, if somebody comes up and you say, oh, you want to come play with us? Oh yeah, Grant, go on, throw on your boots, come over here. And then it's like, okay, we're going to play a match, we'll just throw the ball in. That person, you will never ever see that person again. That's not integrating somebody into a group. That's bringing somebody up and going, oh sure, you know, if you're here, you're here. You need to be able to welcome somebody through the gates, as I said, creating a welcoming culture. You know, you're valued, come on in, this is such and such, such and such, here's what we're going to do tonight, and here's all the information that you need. Going for a few drinks after training sessions, yeah, we'll address that a little bit later on, Tara. Joanne, learning their name, absolutely, yeah. I've not Gaelic4Mothers and Others sessions, but I've seen other sessions, including ones that I've actually taken part in men's football, where it's here, you pass the ball, you. But you couldn't, if you tried, make somebody feel less important, or less integrated. And I suppose that's up to the participants themselves, the coaches and the coordinators, to make it their business to learn somebody's name. And to ensure that that person has the opportunity to learn names. Now, when I say that, you're somebody new, and just say it's one new participant coming into a group. it's almost impossible to learn every single name in the first night. The head would be absolutely spinning, but at least give them the opportunity. They may learn 2 or 3, might be a face familiar to them, you know, and that might just register with them. But you have to give people at least that opportunity, rather than going, as I said, oh yeah, get in there, yeah, you see that one over there, yeah, that woman over there, you just go over to her now, she'll look after you. Okay, that's not integrating somebody. That's not giving somebody the opportunity to put a name to a face that they can come back the following week, or maybe somebody that they might see at the school gates, or somebody that they might see in the shopping centre and say, geez, you know, were you at the Gaelic4Mothers&Others night? Yeah, I was. Yeah, oh, that's absolutely brilliant. I took part in some filming down in Enniscrone, Kilglass. It was for the injury prevention series, and if you haven't seen that, check it out on our website as well. Hugely important resource for Gaelic4Mothers&Others groups for injury prevention and preparation to play throughout a year. So go on, check that out. But we're down filming those exercises, and I had great rapport with the group there, and they were such nice participants to deal with. And while I was down there, the weather was atrocious, so I decided that I wanted to stay the night. So I booked into, I think it's the Raven down there, Raven Hotel, in the locality. And then I decided that obviously I hadn't got much clothes because I hadn't planned to stay, but I decided I was going to go into the local Duns and pick up a few pairs of tracksuit bottoms just sitting in the hotel room. And lo and behold, at the till was 2 of the women who had just taken part in the Gaelic4Mothers&Others filming. And I was like, oh wow, I was like, you know, and I knew their names from speaking to them earlier on the day. I said, well, it's yourself and yourself. So it was Audrey and Karen, and I was like, Audrey, Karen, I was like, you were taking part in the game. Like, I was able to recognize them just from the one morning working with them on the filming, and we were there for no more than an hour and a half. But again, I met them in another setting, and it was because the coordinator that day had introduced those participants to me. I was able to put their names together, and then I met them in another setting. But how powerful would that be to be able to do that around a community, to somebody where somebody might be working in a shop, or, you know, they come across someone in the street, or as I said, at the gates of a school, and say, you know, you were at the Gaelic4Mothers&Others. You're like, yeah, Jenny, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So a huge integration tool, huge. And again, look, I'll probably speak about that in a little bit more detail going forward in the next few minutes. So thank you everybody for your offerings on that one as well. So integrate new members. So just a few handy tips here. Prepare existing members. So if it is a group that has existing members attached to it, make sure that they understand, okay, look, we're going to go on a recruitment drive here, or we're going to try and grow the group. So here's what is probably going to happen. We're probably going to bring down some new players. You know, I want you to be welcoming to them. I want you to create a welcoming culture for them. I don't want you to see it as a threat, because everybody gets equal game time in Gaelic4Mothers&Others. It's not as if they're going to take your place on a team or anything of that sort. But you do need to address that with existing members. Say, look, we're going to go recruiting at the club nursery. There are probably going to be some new participants joining us, you know, just to let you know. You really have to address that with existing members, because people could take it the wrong way, that we're as a group, were we not good enough? Okay, so you do need to address those and allay those fears for them, and really help. They can help you in so many ways. Existing members are your best recruitment tool, because as I said in the first slide, they love it for a reason, and they are your ones who can go out there and do that recruitment for you. So make sure that you have addressed that with them first. Prepare the existing members. Get to know the participants through informal chat. So the new participants, it's not a job interview, it's not an interrogation, but just that little chat, you know, what do you do with yourself? And, you know, okay, yeah, like, just say somebody said, oh, well, I work in IT, and you say, oh, geez, you know, there's 3 or 4 of our girls here actually work in IT as well, you know, maybe you should get to know. And, you know, just creating those little social connections with them, and getting to know a little bit about their background. Okay, so just an informal chat, and get to know maybe how they like to be coached, or what particular activities they're looking to do, or what's their motivation around getting involved. And that really shows an interest from maybe a coordinator, or an existing player, or a coach, that, look, you know, they're asking me questions. They really want to get to know me. You know, I feel like, you know, they want me here. And that's a huge integration tool. Okay. allocate an appropriate buddy or a group. Okay, so you know, you might say, you know, do you know anybody here? And they might say, oh, I know, I think her child is in my class, or my child's class, or you know, or I think she might work in the same place. Me, look, I'm going to buddy you up with her for the first couple of weeks, just so you can get to know somebody else in the group, and then we might buddy you up with somebody else in the group, and then that's how people get to know each other with that closer contact. And it might be a group within the existing wider team or group as well. So a group maybe of 3 or 4. You know, we're going to put you together with this team, and you're going to work together on this particular task. So use that as an integration tool, that they are part of something, that they feel useful in something. Provide positive feedback and reinforcement. And I suppose that comes down to helping somebody to realize that, you know, you're here. We love that you're here. We like that you're taking part, and what you're doing is right. It might not be the most effective thing. You're attempting to kick the ball, and we absolutely love that. Somebody attempts a solo. That's absolutely brilliant. Well done. That was fantastic. You know, next week you're going to get that solo on the run next week. I'm full sure of it. Full sure of it. That's brilliant and a huge effort from you. Well done. Positive feedback and reinforcement. And that makes people feel good about themselves. I feel good about this. The coach feels good about it. The players are telling me that they can see an improvement with my soloing on the run. Wow. They value my effort here. They value my improvement. So provide positive reinforcement and feedback. Assign them a bite-sized role. So it might be weeks 3, 4, 5, and you say, look, you know, would you mind taking the bibs home and, you know, washing them? You know, do you have that facility to do that? Something bite-sized like that, you know. Or it could be, listen, we need somebody to pick up all the cones at the end of training, you know. Would you mind just, you know, oh yeah, like they feel like they're part of, they're a cog in the wheel. You know, this session can't take place unless, you know, I fulfill my role here. I'm important here. I have a value here. So what I'm doing, either before, during, or after session, depending on my bite-sized task, is affecting what's happening tonight. I feel part of this. This is now my session as well. Okay. So again, and that might be a new group as well, though. That might be a new group coming together for the first time. So you might be a new club and you assign bite-sized role to everybody. Many hands make light work. Everybody feels part of it then. Everybody has their own smaller roles. Highlight participants who fulfill duties or roles within the group. So again, this is kind of on a wider context. So that, you know, it might be saying, okay, well, you see those 2 over there, they look after our fundraising, and I'm after breaking my own rule there. Do you see Mary and Jenny over there? They look after the fundraising. Do you see Elaine and Kira over there? They look after the equipment. So highlight who does what. So just in case they want anything, you know, it could be Johnny over there is the coach, but he's also the club registrar. So if you want to look after your registrations or anything, or you need to ask questions about that, go and ask Johnny, because he does a little bit of the coaching as well. But Kira also helps him with the coaching, so they're a coaching team. So make sure that you highlight to them who does what. So it helps them to feel part of it. It helps them to know who they can go to if they need something. And reinforcement of the program ethos and its principles as well. And I suppose that goes from new members and existing members as well. So reinforcing that it's non-competitive, reinforcing that there's no scores, that it doesn't matter whether you're good or not. People aren't looking for the next Sinead Goldrick or the next Emma Duggan. That's not what this program is about. It's about having fun, enjoying yourself in a social environment. So the constant reinforcement of that helps them to integrate, because they understand these participants are here for the same reason as me. They're not here to become inter-county players. They're here to have a bit of crack on a weekly basis through the medium of football. Okay, so constant reinforcement of the program ethos and its principles. You know, oh, we're going out to play a blitz this week, but we all understand that, including the new members, that there's no scores and we don't care. There's no winners. We don't care who scores what. It's all about a bit of crack and interaction with another group. Okay, so constant reinforcement of those. Socializing the group. So I suppose on the pitch, the socializing of the group, names during games. Okay, so we spoke about this, learning people's names, okay, and giving people the opportunity to learn names. So it could be that when somebody catches the ball in their possession, they have to call out their own name. Okay, it's a bit of crack for them as well. But the new participants get to know, okay, oh, that's such and such. So she caught the ball 4 times. So now I know her name because she said her own name 4 times. It gives a face to the participant, and it helps the new participants know who is who, be that 1, 2, or 10 new participants. Names during games is a huge tool to be able to use. And there's nothing can make you feel more valued or socialize into a group where somebody learns your name. If you catch the ball 3 or 4 times in the game, somebody's going to know your name straight away. So it's not that new girl, can't remember her name. No, that's Mary who caught the ball 4 times. And I know that because she did catch the ball. She called her name when she did. Sporadic opportunities for chat, water breaks. All of our studies of the Gaelic4Mothers and Others sponsored by SportsDirect program is that the social side of things is one of the biggest factors why people join and why they stay in the program. So let people have those chats. There's nothing worse than a session where it's like, right, bang, 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 you know, exercise, exercise, exercise. Give people those opportunities in between their exercise to have that little chat with each other. It might be the only chat that they get all day. And it's a brilliant way of socializing groups and having group cohesion, where they might be comparing notes from their work day or their personal life, or their something that children are doing at home, or problems with their spouse or whatever, or partner, that they're just having those little chats, and maybe they just need to vent, and let them do that, and it gives people that opportunity just to get to know each other as well. Icebreaker exercises. Again, it might be something of, you might have a number of new participants, but everybody, everybody kind of faces away from each other. One person starts a line, they have to whisper to the next person, whisper to the next person, and then they see what it is by the time they get to the end. And see, is it the exact same thing that the person at the front, it's called Chinese whispers, has said to the person at the end. And it really gives a kind of a fun element to that, or to a group, and makes people feel we're working together here on something that's completely gas and bizarre and fun, but we're working together on it, and it's a method of communication and socialization within it. And I suppose the thing at the start is always something completely different than at the end, but they're trying to tell each other what different things are along the way. Tag and other engagement activities. So, activities and games where they're interacting with each other, socializing with each other, especially tag games like, I caught you, or people run away from each other, and people think tag games are for 4 and 5-year-olds. They're absolutely not. They're for everybody, all the way up to adult senior footballers. I see people playing tag games. Essentially, they're the same principles as playing ladies Gaelic football, chasing after somebody and trying to get away from somebody, but they really give that element of fun, that socialization and a talking point as well. You nearly got me, but I got away from you. Or, do you remember you had me backed in the corner, but I sidestepped you? Use those activities for engagement. Okay. Themed sessions. So again, as you can see there on our image there, so that was a fancy dress session that took place. Could be different themes throughout a year that people can come up with, and I suppose groups out there are far more creative than me, but different themed sessions, and really utilize the fun element of the sessions to socialize the people within the group, and a talking point, and say, oh, what brilliant costume, you come up with that. Obviously, don't use the costumes or anything too bulky when training if it's doesn't look like it's going to be safe, but something fun or along those lines. Silly starters and fun finishers. Again, the more laughter that's happening in a group, the more interaction that is happening between participants. So you're socializing the group. They're laughing with each other, they're having a bit of fun together. There's cohesion there. There's talking points afterwards. So the first thing that you do in a session, I call the silly starter. That kind of sets the theme for the whole session. It's something fun, it's something not too taxing, it's something that is going to get them warmed up, but it's also going to create that fun vibe within a session, and that socializing within the group on the pitch. And then your fun finisher, your absolute last thing you do before everybody walks out the gate. Again, another little bit of crack. It could be something that just has the group in absolute stitches, or it could be a tag game. It could be just something that that utilizes those those different activities that can cause talking points, cause laughter, and cause a bit of crack and social cohesion within the group. Activities that promote teamwork. So you could have relay races where they're working together, interacting together, where they feel part of a group, where they feel that the group couldn't function without them. And that's socializing people together on the pitch. They're working together. There is cohesion there. People feel like they really are integrated. They feel like they're a cog in the wheel. Problem solving activities, stuff like the human knot, is one that comes to mind, where teams need to work together to problem solve. Communication, talking to each other, socializing. Okay, and partner games. So that could be the one again that comes to my mind is head, shoulders, knees, toes, ankles, ball, where they're working one-on-one, and then you can move them along like conveyor belts. So they get to do that one-on-one partner game with everybody in the group. So they get to meet everybody in the group as the session goes along. Again, I suppose the second part of this, I'm not going to delve too deep into this, is the coaching part of it. And I suppose if you want to know all about the socializing the group on the pitch in the coaching aspects, we already have 2 webinars that we did over the last couple of years. So one is effective coaching practices for Gaelic4Mothers&Others. That was presented by myself and my colleague William Harmon. And then the other one is more recent, which is the Gaelic4Mothers&Others, the coaching sessions, which again presented by myself and my colleague from Ulster, Ciarán Murta, as well. So make sure to check those out on our YouTube channel as well. And I suppose a lot of what we discuss in those 2 webinars is around, the reasons why Gaelic4Mothers&Others take part, number one, and about group activities and how they can be utilised to harness that. And there's a good few videos and exercises in there that you can learn from as well in terms of taking ideas of socialising the group into your sessions. So socialising the group off the pitch, and I suppose somebody mentioned this a little bit earlier on. So you have I'll start from the left, and I'll kind of follow the train there. So your informal meetups, again, it could be just a meet up and a chat, for a walk in the park or whatever, or you might bump into somebody in the street. And I spoke about that a little bit earlier on about meeting somebody and having that informal chat. Wasn't it a great session the other night? And it might be 2 participants bumping into each other in the street, and the next of all there's 5 or 6 of you, all going in the one direction. So those informal meetups and chats, and just bumping into somebody, and I suppose on a wider context, you can't beat that, meeting somebody out in the street, and really having a good chat away from a setting that is slightly different than your normal meetup. And then the next one, coffee mornings. So again, why not invite the wider club to a coffee morning in the club, and just to sit down and a chat, and an opportunity, I suppose, for people to socialize and have that real opportunity without the kicking the ball in between chats, and allow people, I suppose, to get things either off their chest, obviously not about the group, but anything that might be happening in their lives or whatever. So just that space for people to come down and maybe sit and have a hot beverage and a chat in that social environment. Fundraising for the group. So fundraising really adds to the cohesion and socialization of the group, because it gives everybody a purpose within the group. You're fundraising for either the group or the club, and it gives a certain ownership of a club that you've contributed to something, or a certain ownership of a group that you've contributed to its success or its continued growth, or its ability to buy footballs or cones or bibs, or to fund that trip away, as I'll speak about in a little bit as well. So I suppose looking at, again, social events in the club. Somebody mentioned there having a few beverages, and there's nothing wrong with that in a controlled environment, and making sure that everybody knows when it's on and where it's on, and its setting as well. So yeah, social events are huge opportunities for socializing off the pitch, to meet up as a group in a different setting, I suppose in a different light. You can see people in a different light as well, and it gives that opportunity for that chat off the pitch as well. Becoming volunteers in another strand of the club, as I spoke about earlier on. what we're seeing, the trend across the country is that Gaelic4Mothers&Others groups are now becoming far more prevalent. So again, people working together, and not just what I spoke about was problem solving exercise and relay races and everything, of people socializing on the pitch, socializing off the pitch to, I suppose, problem solve within the club setting, or to fundraise within the club setting, or to become a coach in the club setting, or an administrator or an officer within the club. So becoming a volunteer in another strand of the club can really, really help two people who maybe one of them is new to a group, one of them might be an established member, and they might be sitting on a juvenile committee together, and really helps them to socialise as well. Blitzes and games with other clubs, and again, there's no pressure on anybody to ever play a blitz in a game with another club. The strength of the program is your weekly meetup within the club, but those opportunities are there for maybe a trip to another county, or trip to the other side of your own county, and to play together, representing the club in a social context, wearing the club colours. So it really has that socialising effect, and the chats on the way, and there may be that in a car or in a bus, and they really give more of an opportunity to do that as well. Provincial and national blitzes, which again, we have our provincial blitzes coming up over the next number of months. So it's important that people understand, again, they don't have to take part in those as well, but they are good opportunities for a full day, I suppose, of having those opportunities between matches, to have your chats and play football together for a whole day, and then go and socialise in the host club as well, and have those have that group chat, and maybe have a reflection of your playing day as well, and given that opportunity to the group to take part in something like those as well. Availing of exercise opportunities outside of the club setting, and again, this is included because I'd seen a couple of groups that I'd come across in my time, where they were obviously taking part in the Gaelic4Mothers&Others sessions for the hour a week, but another hour a week in the morning they were going and doing an exercise class together. I think it was 6 a.m. or something like that, and they were just meeting up. So there was kind of a peer support there as well in terms of their physical activity journey. So they were brilliant at inviting new participants along, and they were brilliant at inviting participants who maybe weren't hugely into physical activity along with them, and there was just a brilliant social cohesion within the group. And it was that on the pitch, off the pitch opportunity to socialize, and they really grew close over the couple of years that I had known them as well. Community engagement, that might be again helping out in the community. I certainly know some Gaelic4Mothers&Others groups who are involved in tidy towns and stuff like that, and they go down in their Gaelic4Mothers&Others tops, and it's a really fantastic thing for a group to be able to say that they are participating in something like that, representing their club and the program, out doing something that's really going to benefit their community as well. So getting involved in school committees or whatever, and maybe helping the club to recruit from around the community as well. So it's hugely rewarding for groups as well. And trips away as a group, so that could be, as I said, trip to another end of the country to maybe play a match with another club from another county, staying overnight, sampling the local fair or what the local town has to offer, and then coming back the next day, and really having enjoyed and getting to know people a little bit better in a different setting, and spending that time with them off the pitch as well. So folks, that's going to bring us to the end of this webinar, and I suppose thanks to everybody for your engagement this evening on this webinar. It's been absolutely fantastic, and it's great to see so many ideas and the level of knowledge out there that exists on how to grow the group and the different methods and different strategies that have been employed by clubs in terms of integrating people and new participants in the past. So look, in the chat function, if you wouldn't mind, what was the one or OIC moment from you in this webinar, or just something that you enjoyed about it? And yeah, if you wouldn't mind typing that in, and we can have a bit of a reflection on that. So I'd like to thank you for your taking the time to watch this webinar, to engage with it. I'd like to thank you for sharing it, if you have shared it with somebody else as well. And thank you for taking part in the Gaelic4Mothers&Others sponsored by SportsDirect program, and indeed the webinar series as well. Hopefully we'll get to see each other in person over the next number of months. And as I said, this will be available on our YouTube channel for anybody to watch over the coming months. So thank you very much for your engagement, Slán.